Well, as you can see, we're back up in the collector's attic, and we're going to be looking at some of her toys.
It's my turn now.
It's her turn. We're going to be doing her dolly collection.
And just hang on. I know you guys are going to just take off because you don't like no. Just
these are really neat. They're little itty bitty teeny dollies, and we sneak them on the railroad sometimes because they're in scale. But part of what started all of this is we both had toys off of the Twirl Town rack when we were kids.
Yeah, they were those little plastic cheap toys from Hong Kong or Japan that were in a little plastic bag with the logo, little folded down.
So we actually found some Twirl Town toys.
We did, finally.
Finally, I've been searching for them on eBay, the source of all antiquities. Took 2 years. I just set up an automatic search. You can do that on eBay. And suddenly one day, here comes an alert, Twirl Town Toys.
Yes.
And some lady had tons of them.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
So we sent some messages back and forth and back and bought a whole bunch.
Yes.
And she may still have a few stashed away.
You never know.
She's looking.
Yes.
So here are our Twirl Town Toys.
Yes. So these are what Twirl Town Toys are. And they were these little cheap toys, if you will. But they were pretty cool. Like, I had this mailbox. And they were, from made in Japan or Hong Kong, 15 cents. Isn't that crazy? And of course, some of you will recognize like the little toy watches. I mean, you wore that, felt like you were all grown up. And of course, there were games. Look at the price on that. And it's
now
solid.
In the For What It's Worth department in the 70s, when I started, opened up a hobby shop with a friend, and we actually started buying from Western Toy, who made Twirl Town Toys. They explained to me what they were doing with importation, that the price that they would pay was 10% of the retail price. The multiplier they were using was 10. So the 10-cent items cost them 1 cent out of either Japan or Hong Kong. And the 15-cent items like this cost them 1.5 cents.
Wow, imagine that. And they're quality toys, really. But I liked them. They had the toy rack at every grocery store, including where I grew up. But when you're in school, the teacher does not want you bringing toys to school. So we were always trying to figure out a way to amuse ourselves during recess, especially in the winter. We were not allowed to go outside and play in the winter time. And it was an elementary school, grades K through 6, but it was a very small town, so a very small school. And so therefore everybody went out to recess at the same time. And the older kids always picked the games to play, like ping pong or table tennis or badminton, anything that was in the multi-purpose room. And the littler kids, including me, was left to our own devices to find something to do. And so I searched to try to find something. We couldn't bring big toys to school, but we would sneak and bring these little ones. And liking dolls, of course, when I looked at the Twirl Town toy rack, I found a little baby doll. Isn't that cute? I mean, she's just about 1.5 inches, maybe not quite 2 inches big. And she had movable arms and legs, and she did come in a little buggy, a little plastic buggy, 10 cents on the Twirl Town toy rack. And I had these, quite a few of them. They'd break, of course, because they're just cheap. And probably the saddest thing that happened was I had an old bicycle I was trying to ride. My parents couldn't afford a decent bike, so I had this full-sized cruiser-type bike that belonged to my aunt. I was trying to ride that, but I was trying to bring my dolly with, and it was hard to hang on to the dolly and the handlebars without breaking her, so I stuffed her in the handlebars, and she never did come out. I mean, it was just a crisis at our house, but lo and behold, probably right in that era, there was an advertisement that came on TV for what they called Lucky Locket Kiddles. Now, I had other Kiddle dolls I had one that was bigger because a friend would bring her Kiddles to school to play with. And they were the 3-inch high variation of the Kiddle. And so I got one, but it was still too big to bring to school. My teacher would have taken it away, so this sufficed. But I really wanted one. And of course, my parents really couldn't afford one right away. But my cousin got one, and then I eventually got one like this one for my birthday. But they were a 2-inch high doll with non-removable clothes. I have one here that's out of the locket that she's, you can play with her. But you can see that she's just really tiny and real close. They were very detailed, and I thought it was cute because they even had, underclothes and a shirt and buttons, and their hair was braided. They were so much fun to play with. But best of all, we could tease the teacher a little bit and say, hey, it's jewelry. So anyway, these are what they look like. And I thought they were just so cool because you could sneak the doll out and say, okay, I'm going to play with this for recess teacher, you know. But during class, it was jewelry. We wore them as a necklace, and I was like, this isn't a toy, it's a necklace, it's jewelry. And I don't know if the teacher bought it or not.
Well, if they didn't take it away, they bought it.
I had mine taken away. You know, by the end of the school day, I got it back. But then my parents got a phone call from Mr. Larson, like, you know. But we thought it was really cool that we could wear these as jewelry during the regular part of the day and then take them out at recess and play with them, and especially the cold winter months when outside just wasn't an option.
Which is probably Mattel's thinking all along.
I'm thinking so.
I think so.
Yes. So these evolved into quite a thing for me. I loved little tiny dolls, and it certainly was a lot better than that little plastic baby doll that I had. So I began collecting them as a kid.
Well, collecting even as a kid, because he sold retail for...
Oh man, this one probably...
$2 to $3?
Yeah, I remember a figure like $2.98. This was the one I got for my birthday. And I remember a price like $2.98. Which doesn't sound like a lot of money, but boy, back in 1967, 68, it would have been a lot of money.
Adjusted for inflation,
Yes.
over $30.
Yes.
32,
If you can
$33,
imagine
something like
30 bucks for a toy like that.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder my
It was an
parents
expensive toy.
Yeah, basically.
They're more expensive now.
Yes. Oh, man.
This
Yeah.
one is kind of funny because the other one has a price tag on it.
Yes,
It
it's
was
sold.
out of a sale bin.
They were trying to get rid of these guys, you know, by the time they weren't so popular anymore. And this one, 38 cents. They were just getting rid of them left and right.
Out of time travel.
Oh, yes. I would love
Because
to.
these cost, for really high quality, still on the card, unopened, new old stock, as
Yes,
they say.
on eBay.
About how much?
Anywhere from $50 to $75 on up, depending on the mint condition of the card that they're on.
And surprisingly, that makes the Lucky Locket Kiddles not the most expensive Kiddles by a bunch.
Yes,
Some are 10 times that much.
yes.
But the Lucky Locket Kiddles are a little more easy to find and a little more affordable when you do find them.
They are. There's still a few though on the card. That's so cool.
And
Yeah.
usually what you'll find is like these others.
Yes, these are the ones I have. I
you
call
can
them
find
on the loose.
Good quality ones.
Right.
But ones that have been, you know, the packaging isn't there, they're out of the packaging.
They'll say mint.
But totally mint, no damage,
Yes.
all of it there in the proper locket, because sometimes these things get shuffled around and you'll see them in the wrong locket. One of my favorite things is you'll see things that are completely in the wrong locket, and they'll be advertised on eBay as
Drives
exceedingly
me-
rare.
Drives me crazy because
Yes.
I know these things. I mean, I became a Kiddle connoisseur at a very young age, and you know perfection how that goes, right?
So, as with all things on eBay, you have to look out for the BS.
Right.
Just because it's a particular locket and a particular thing and a particular packaging doesn't mean that the reason it's incredibly rare and one-off is because they got the clothes from one doll and the head from a different doll and the locket from a different doll, and they've slapped the whole thing together.
Right.
And they're trying to get $100 for it.
It's extremely rare. Yeah. No.
Extremely rare. No,
Yeah, these-
it's just junk.
Yeah.
But these, when you can find the right ones, and you do a little research, so you're not buying the proverbial pig in a poke,
Right.
then somewhere around $70.
Oh,
is,
easy. Yes.
about the fair price for a good.
And then
quality.
there's one she's a dark complected little doll. You know, she could be of any ethnicity you wanted her to be, but boy, she is absolutely rare. If you can find her, she can go as high as $300.
And it was the 60s.
Yeah.
A lot of parents would not let the kid
No.
have a non-white
Yeah.
doll.
Right.
If you had
Well, they
an
had the
African American
brunette like her, you know, and that. But this one, yeah, she could be any. Yeah, she was very dark skinned and.
We haven't found one of those yet. but
Oh, I
that'll be
saw
fun,
one
yeah.
and it got away from me
Yeah.
before I could bid on it. But it's still, I think it went for over 100 and it was played with.
Yeah,
But I would love to get a hold of one of those because those are just really neat.
they're neat.
So those are really cool. Anyway, my Kiddle collection.
There's the Kiddle
This
collection.
is just the start.
We've got other Kiddles that we're going to be looking at on the show.
Because there were a bigger generation that came out before these, and I didn't have as many of those. However, today they go for a pretty penny also.
Yeah.
I'm collecting those as well.
and some of the, I'm not sure which one, I think your favorites are the jewelry Kiddles.
Yeah, the teeny,
Very, very small,
yes.
very, very small. And then the cosmic Kiddles
Yes.
sell for a pretty penny.
Oh, yes. We'll be talking about those. Those
We've
are
got one sitting back here that we're into over $500. So that's just
one of, yes.
that's just one, and,
Yes.
and then there's the store display. So some of this stuff is insanely collectible, insanely valuable,
Right.
and insanely fun.
Yes. We'll be having fun. I have fun with the little itty bitty dolls, you know. So if you've got a model railroad, beware.
Beware.
If we visit, you may be photobombed by a little doll.
Your little jewelry Kiddles have a way of popping up on
They
people's
do.
railroads.
So consider it an honor.
If you go
they
back
do.
to some of the railroad tours, you might
You'll see a couple.
You might spot one hiding in a dark alley somewhere, photo bombing with the jewelry Kiddles.
Yes.
Well, at any rate, if you haven't been over to the channel, do pop on over to the channel. And while you're over there, you want to subscribe.
Absolutely.
And the easy way to subscribe and navigate over to the channel is to click on the blue button. Zoink! Somewhere right in here is the blue button. If you can't see the blue button, it's because some devices, phones, TV sets don't support it.
Nope.
But if you see it, click on it, takes you to the channel, makes you a subscriber, makes you cool.
Yes.
Well, we're not sure how you found this particular movie on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, because it's dolls. And
It's
some
dolls.
people just
Oh, come on. Yeah.
don't find it boring. And we will see you here again on Sunday with the Sunday Drive.
We'll
We'll
see
you
ya.
then. Bye-bye.
Bye.